It's in his DNA to cut up. He got 24 on chromosome 1. It's called the cut up gene. He gonna cut up.
Everything was in your favor and you still lost. You had no excuse. You didn't play up to your potential and you had 14 penalties. You shot yourself in the foot. You shot yourself in the foot. It's not the refs, it's you. So let's talk about the playoffs. Now, there were 6 games this first wild card week of the season, of NFL playoff season, but there was one particular and special game that we shall begin with right now.
Mediocre team and Big D. That's what makes this funny. How about the Cowboys? How about the Cowboys? Some way, somehow, when they count, just wait. They will let you down. The accident, they will mess it up. Just wait. The accident, they will let you down. Just wait. The accident, the accident, the accident, waiting to happen. It will happen. I'm predicting they're gonna be irrelevant. I'm predicting an absolute embarrassment for the last decade and a half. They make me laugh. All the talent that they have is unbelievable, man. Big D, teasing you. This is what they do. Walking through weed show up on cue. Accident, something will go wrong. The accident of the big Jumbotron. Accident, gotta recognize it's a black cat running around that franchise. Say with accident, they will mess it up. Just wait. The accident, they will let you down. Just wait. The accident. Waiting to happen. It will happen. How about the Cowboys?
All that you, Sabrina.
Yeah.
All that you.
That would be the Cowboys who played in their own home stadium against who, Gwen?
The 49ers.
The 49ers. Lost. They lost. Let's talk about all the reasons why this was just so wonderful. You want to start off?
Of course, it's wonderful because we are Washington football fans, but at the same time, living in the DMV, I wish all can experience that. It's a Dallas takeover every season. You see so much Cowboys stuff. People would tell you the DC and Washington DC stands for Dallas Cowboy. That's a joke within their little fan base. But I just must say that game was the best game of the weekend. I'm sorry, too many other games were blowouts. Like after the first quarter, I stopped watching 3 of them, and we'll get to that. But this game, you had to watch it to the last 14 seconds. Let's just talk about that. I'm sorry. I do not agree with them, first of all, blaming the refs. This game was totally winnable had you just played better. I'm sorry. You can't wait. I even say this for our football team. You can't wait till the end to play. You need to be playing the whole 60 minutes. So everybody knows when the play resets, the ref or whoever you want to call him has to touch the ball.
Yep.
He has to touch it. So when Doc went to reset and it got on the line, he could have either ran around them, would have cost more time, or he tried to squeeze through. So Doc claiming somebody knocked him over. No, he was trying to help you spike the ball so he could have some seconds. It didn't work. Everybody knows, and theories have been shown, and if I know this, all quarterbacks should know this. You need a minimum of 16 seconds to get that done. So you will only have 14 seconds. So how is this going to be anywhere possible? You get what I'm saying? You already under the gun by 2 seconds. You need they say 17. I say you could do it in 16. But you need at least 17 seconds to do what he had to do. And he only had 14. So right there, it wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
Why you didn't run to the sideline like the previous plays?
And my question is, who called that play?
Oh my God! Who called him to run up the middle?
I'm standing in my living room looking at the clock. It was 14 seconds left. Cowboys had no timeouts. I saw Dak running down the middle, and I'm like, why is he doing that? Who called that? That is ridiculous.
My favorite person in the world now, that young offensive. This is what I'm saying. It got the offensive coach trying to get a head coaching job. So I think he was doing too much. I'm sorry, Sabrina. I think he was, what's the word, interviewing. Because we're gonna talk about that later about all the head coaching changeover. But I think he was interviewing. He wanted to show because he's so young that I'm a McVay, I'm a Shanahan, I'm one of the young, I'm a Fleur. No, boo, you royally messed up. And then McCarthy was supposed to override him. No, I ain't gonna let him run up the middle. You crazy?
But McCarthy stood, of course, in the post game. He was like, "Oh, I stand behind that decision."
Then use a food standing next to the food and standing next to the food, because I even knew that wasn't gonna work.
But yeah, let me tell you for me why this game was satisfying. The Cowboys had everything in their favor, everything, because the fans,
advantage.
And the fans every year, if they lose, well, we didn't have that. You had that. Zeke was out. Nope, you had Zeke. Well, we don't have nobody else behind him. Pollard was in the game.
Why they didn't play Pollard more? It's 1,000 questions. Like Jerry Jones, I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I just gotta come right here. I'm gonna not go Jerry. Jerry Jones, everybody knows him. He's one of the most popular owners. Everybody know how bad he wanted to win because his years is winding down. He got to do it. Why wouldn't you put 1,000%? I feel like you just said, they had so many things in their favor, but they used only 2.
Well, what do you mean they used only 2?
I feel like they didn't take advantage, of home field advantage by calling these weak plays and not playing to their highest potential. And why didn't you play Pollard more? Because I feel like if Zeke down, Pollard kicks it up.
Yeah, if I remember looking at the stats, and Zeke and Pollard had a combined rushing total of like, I want to say it was less than 100. It was low, whatever it was.
Terrible.
And then the CeeDee Lamb got locked down. Everything was in your favor, and you still lost. You had no tree to jump behind. You had no excuse. So I was actually mad at the end when the whole referee thing with the setting of the ball, because now, well, that's why we lost. No, boo-boo. You didn't play up to your potential, and you had 14 penalties. You shot yourself in the foot. You shot yourself in the foot. It's not the refs, it's you. And then Dak gonna get in the post game, because you saw the fans was throwing the debris and stuff on the field, and it came out that they were throwing it at the refs, not at the players. But at first, Dak thought they were throwing it at the players, and so he's like, "Oh, I don't know why they would throw stuff at us as hard as we work, and they're supposed to be our big supporters. I don't support this." And then the reporters were like, "Well, no, they were actually throwing them at the referees." And he was like, "Oh, good on them then, good." How are you going to do that? It's not okay when they're throwing them at you. But if it's at the refs, that's good. No,
I was confused because I thought they was doing what they were supposed to do. Because don't you put trash in a trash can? That whole field was a trash can. So I thought they were just throwing the trash in the trash can. But to back you up on that, see how it flips with them. So he is a part of that Cowboy Nation that's delusional, because you can't possibly think it's okay to throw items at the refs when y'all messed up. They didn't mess up. No. They didn't. That dude was trying to squeeze through to do his job. Because the play can't stop till he touched the ball, and he was just trying to find the path of least resistance or the quickest angle to get to that ball. He could have ran around the left side or squeezed through the middle, so he was squeezing through the middle.
Yeah, and then the Cowboys said, well, he should have ran faster. He should have been ready and been up closer to boo-boo. That 50-year-old man ain't gonna be as fast as a 20-something-year-old person.
And it's not his job to get the play down when you're dumb blips making a up the middle pass with 14 seconds. So who's really to blame? And I was very nervous, Sabrina, because go back and do the research. The last 4 Super Bowl winners that came out of this wild card weekend, especially on the NFC side with that game. So I was like, oh, brother. So it's even if they would have won, I would have been super nervous the whole rest of the time. But I knew Green Bay was going to have something for them, but I was going to be super nervous the whole time. Because were they capable on paper, were they capable of beating the Bucks next week? Yes.
Yeah.
They barely beat them week 1.
And the Cowboys had a defense this year. That's another thing that was in the favor. They actually had a defense. That's what made me nervous. I was like, they could actually maybe do this.
Yeah.
They lost.
But God and all his infinite wisdom and mercy on us Washington fans, we had a really trying year between our organization looking like the joke of the whole NFL and so many personal losses and stuff, that it was nice that God said, I'm going to give y'all one. Let me take out y'all nemesis first round.
Yes. And I haven't heard anything from
nobody. Nobody. The whole time they won, I can't even stop my phone with tingling, tingling. All the at the table, turn my notifications off. I got pictures, and Lord, I wore this Dallas up, show that picture, Sabrina outfit, man. But Sabrina, isn't it beautiful?
Nice and quiet. That's why I'm not joking. It's not even the Cowboys. We've said this so many times. It's their fans.
The fans.
And there's, when they win, they come crawling out the cracks like roaches, and you see flags flying. And the Cowboys, this our year. We going to the show. And when they lose, nothing.
Exactly. Loving it. Loving every minute of it. So there you have it. That was our most talked about game. Looking forward to seeing the 49ers play who they have to play. Now they have to play the Packers.
Yeah, that ain't gonna go too well.
So we'll see. But think about it. And this would do my heart one more hurt before I let this go. And I'm terrible for name, but I know what I'm talking about. When you look at all our potential head coaching talent in the playoffs, we got Kyle, we got Sean, and we had Matt. I'm done. If we would have held on to one of them, one, that's what bothers me. That they don't have the foresight to look in the future. That's why I said we're gonna get another old ass quarterback, and they leave that. Let me cuss right here. We get another old ass quarterback, and they're not gonna start off with something new or go out to somebody young and train them up. You get what I'm saying? Watch this, Sabrina. Watch. I want Deshaun, they gonna get Cam, or it's gonna be something crazy. You know, I even take Russell at this point, because I think Russell done play his last game in Seattle, Sabrina.
You think so?
He's saying. Remember all that rigmarole last year about if he were to leave, these would be the 5 teams. Who does that? So of course the Steelers lost. Nobody had them winning. Only the people in Pittsburgh, Steelers Nation had them winning. And I must say, I think Ben was 1 year overdue from retiring.
Oh yeah, he should have retired last year.
And of course Tom won. But I must say, it's hard for me to root for an NFC team because they say we the worst division in the NFL.
Or otherwise known as the NFC least, as they yeah.
But I could somehow work up the unction or the nerve to do it when Giants are in the playoffs and we're not.
I've never had a problem with the Giants. They
never. I don't even mind their fans because they okay. I don't mind their fans. I can't do the Eagles, and I sure ain't doing the Cowboys.
Right, the Giants fans are cool.
Yeah, they're cool.
The Cowboys are out, so no more NFC East teams.
No more. What you call them, Benny?
Who? NFC least.
Gotta get that. And then of course, we said Ben. The Cardinals were 1 and done, but I kind of said, even though they were my pick for the most improved team, I didn't think they were they were in battle tested to go in the playoffs.
Yeah, I thought they would go further than that, but they just bumped up.
Not against them Rams.
Yeah, they bumped up against the Rams in the first round.
Had they played Dallas or one of the NFC least, it probably would have been a bad, But not when I saw they was matched up against them Rams, I knew they was done.
Yeah, and then the Bills blew out the Patriots.
I stopped watching in first quarter.
Yeah, he ain't never had no loss like that. He probably like, where am I? I'm in the twilight zone.
But I must commend him. He jumped back in there. You get what I'm saying? Even out his boy took everything last year, and because it was the perfect combination with them two. He was the GOAT quarterback, and he was the GOAT head coach because he could get a team, he could get anybody to play for him. He has done something that we haven't been able to do, you know what I'm saying, consistently, with no matter who was at the helm.
The Bengals won their first playoff game in 30-something.
30 years.
Yep.
30 years.
Yeah.
30 years. But this is my thing, Beanie. You ready? Okay. Let's go back 2 seconds. There's no way the Ravens should be in the playoffs. No way. Look, I'm gonna throw my headset like they do on the Sabrina.
No way.
Let me holler at you.
No way.
Remember, play that clip, Bean. I'm getting loud. Play that clip when you said, but they can't lose no more.
No, ma'am.
They cannot.
I'm telling you, their one game is going to come back to bite them because right now they're the 4th seed right now. They're the 4th seed.
Like a shark bite.
And if they had won that other game where they didn't go for the field goal, they would be tied for first right now because the top 3 in the AFC all are 9-4 or 10-4, somewhere around there. They have the exact same record. So they would have been right with them. So that's crazy. I hope it doesn't come back to bite them.
So should we call her Prophetess Sabrina right now? Because didn't she call it?
But let me tell you, how you normally say Ray Charles could have saw that coming.
Sabrina, but no. Who knew that they was going to do it a second time? After the first time it worked, then John did it again.
Yeah, okay, so let's be clear what we're talking about because we know what we're talking about. They may not know. The Ravens in 2 very tight games during the regular season went for 2 points after a touchdown instead of kicking the field goal.
To tie the game and take the game into overtime.
Right. They did not convert the 2 points in either.
They lost.
They lost 2 games because of that to us. And so those 2 games bumped them out of the playoffs.
Yep.
When you do it one time, it's like, okay, it didn't work. I tried. When you do it a second time, to me, you're prideful and you're stubborn. You're trying to force something that's not working. It pushed you right out of the playoffs. The Ravens shouldn't have been out of the playoffs.
No.
They
should be in the thick of things. They should be right here in the thick of things.
Yeah.
And because the Patriots took you asked me, some teams that won their divisions wasn't even, that division is a nice division to be in, I must say, because more than one every year comes out there. Who would have thought the last place would be first place this year? Because them Bengals was in last place. They didn't even make it. The other 3 teams in that division went to the playoffs. They didn't even get to go. Now this year they won the whole thing. So kudos and congratulations to the Bengals. But here go my little playoff trivia. You ready, Sabrina? Let me see if you up on it. Everybody get ready. You ready?
Okay, ready.
All right. So there are 4 teams that made the playoffs this year that have never won the Super Bowl. Can you name them?
Okay, so 4 teams that have made the playoffs this year that have never
won the Super Bowl.
Never won the Super Bowl. Okay, so the Bengals, of course. The Titans. Oh, the Bills, because they went 4 times, but never.
And consecutively.
Yeah, back to back every year.
And one more. I'm gonna give you a hint. NFC.
Okay. I'm drawing a blank. Wait a minute. NFC in the playoffs. Okay, so who's in the playoffs? The Cowboys, they've won. But they're out now. The Rams have won.
Who they beat, Sabrina?
The Cardinals. The Cardinals.
Yes, they have never won a Super Bowl. There are actually 12 teams in the NFL that I didn't know it was that many. You would think since we on 55 that all of them would have got a shot, but when you got the Patriots winning 7 and the Steelers winning this 6, and then the Cowboys winning 6, and then we got, it's like the dynasties reign for a long time. But yeah, actually 12 teams have never been before in the playoffs right now. So it'd be nice if one of those teams could win.
It would be.
So of the 4 that's never been, who has the strongest chance? I think the Titans. Because it's the Titans, the Bengals, the Cardinals already out.
Right.
And The Bills.
Bills.
I don't know.
Bills.
That's gonna be a good game.
The game I'm so nervous. We'll get to our picks too, but I'm really nervous about the Bills and the Chiefs. I didn't want that game yet. That's too good of a game. That should have been like the AFC Championship game to me. I didn't want them to face each other in the divisional round yet.
So let's set it up for next week.
Okay.
So who do we have?
All right. So there's 4 games. It's coming up week, the divisional week. And it's the Bengals versus the Titans. The Titans were the number 1 seed. They had the bye week.
The bye. Who you picking? Hurry up.
Henry's out. It's in Tennessee. I'm going with the upset.
The Bengals. I'm gonna do the Bengals too.
For real?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
Dang. So we are both picking the Bengals.
So the next game.
Okay. We have the 49ers versus the Packers.
Woo! In Lambeau.
Aaron. Yeah.
I'm going with Aaron.
You can't pick against that. And then
yeah. So the next game.
Rams versus the Bucks.
Where?
In Tampa Bay.
I'm going with the upset.
You gonna go with the Rams? I'm tempted.
They didn't look right.
Who didn't?
The Bucks. They were all over the place. I'm sorry. And he lost Godwin and AB. And
they were playing the Eagles when they won.
Exactly. So no. I'm going.
I'll go with
Odell, McDonald, Vaughn, my favorite.
Yeah, I'll go with the upset with you.
I'm going with the upset. See, we usually have an upset the first week. We ain't have one. It's coming this week. We're going to have one on each side. I'm picking the Rams to take out the Bucks and the Bengals to take out the Titans. So what's the other 2 games?
It's only one more. The Bills versus the Chiefs. That's the one I was.
Where this game going to be at?
In Kansas City.
Mahomes.
I hate it, but I'm gonna pick Mahomes too because I want the Bills to go all the way.
No, they played it like you said. Had it been one, like you said, the next round, maybe they have enough inertia or positive energy to propel them with the next win. But I think their season coming to an end. Yeah, at home too. I don't think. Be honest, the Chiefs look like they ramping up. You know what I mean?
They're getting the momentum at the right time.
Exactly.
They are. Dang, I wanted the Bills to go.
So there you have it. Hopefully, we'll have another exciting week of football like we did. Round it down. This is where I genuinely get sad because there's less and less football for me.
So we have some old news that we have not gotten to talk about. We've been out for a couple of weeks. Urban Meyer got fired back in mid-December. We never got to talk about that.
Yeah, because one of us decided to go dance with B2K with Omarion and them. Not funny, but
Omarion. So what she's referring to is, and it's so funny because we were out for a couple of weeks because my husband's father passed away, and that threw off our schedule for sure. And then we came back and we're like, we back, we strong, we got this. We're gonna be here every week. A couple days before Christmas, my husband's throat got a little scratchy. So he went and got the proper testing and found out he had the C. I said, oh no, Lord. Then Christmas morning, I woke up. I said, I feel like crap. I can't hardly move. Tested.
I came over there and dropped her Christmas present. So she landed on the couch. I'm looking at everybody. I said, oh no. When I say down for the count,
I couldn't even talk. It took too much energy to talk.
Oh, being.
Then the day after Christmas, my son got it. So everybody had it except my daughter. My daughter never showed any symptoms. She never got it. She was like, okay. So she stayed off and then in a whole nother spot, and we all got through it. So that's why we are weeks late talking about what we're talking about. I'm fine now. Thank you. So,
but anyway, he deserved to be fired. I don't know why they even gave him an opportunity to play in the NFL because he's been playing us left earth since he got here. First with the little his homeboy to play tight end where he wasn't even a good quarterback. Then you out shaking the leg with all the other people at your little restaurant. Then your team was 14 before they won a game.
Or 12, or 13, something like that.
I knew that. I didn't think it would happen this year, but I knew that was coming. It's just some people just don't fit. I can think of one. We had Steve Spurrier. You know, he didn't fit, but he had he was bad at the collegiate level, so he went by, which is one of the reasons why I can't stand South Carolina, but it's okay. But yeah, so I that's not a big to me, but this is sideways segue into one of my little discussions I want to have. Now keep in mind, I don't believe in race. I believe in a human race with multicultural.
Right.
Everybody has a different culture in the human race. But let me holler at you. We need more Black head coaches. We only have one. And let me tell you how phenomenal one we do have. Do you know he broke a record? He has been an NFL coach for 15 years and has never had a losing season. No other head coach in history can say that. Wow. So my thing is, why not give more a chance? Then when you do give them an opportunity, they put them on teams like the Texans and the Jets, where they set them up to fail. I just have to say it, Sabrina. It feels like to me they set them up to fail. Give them an opportunity.
There was something that you said to me that I thought was very, very key, and it's very widely known. Talk about the Tony Dungy situation. Okay, for those who don't know, Tony Dungy was the head coach of the Tampa Bay Bucks. He built that team together. They were ramping up. One year they finished 9-7, which is not a losing record because there are 16 games. So technically he had a winning season. They fired him and next come John Gruden with the same supporting cast. They won the Super Bowl the following year. Warren Sapp, the next day after winning that Super Bowl or getting his ring, went to Tony Dungy's door, knocked on his door, and he either gave him his ring or gave him some money. I can't remember the story because they all knew that it was because of Tony Dungy why they made it to the Super Bowl with John Gruden. It's factual. Look it up. So we're not saying it doesn't happen. There are bad coaches and some people deserve to get fired. But we even said at the beginning of the season, the guy they put on from to Texas was a fall guy. He was over the hill. He was already 89 years old. You know what I'm saying? He was coming from the Ravens, whole different and going to the Titans, whole different mindset of how the team run and plays. We knew he was not going to be there multiple years. You know what I'm saying? So we knew he was. I was surprised about the Miami guy, Flores, getting fired, because if those who don't know, he comes from under Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick has about 4 or 5 assistants under him that have now become head coaches. That is almost unheard of. Yeah.
So he was one of the. But the one thing I found out about Brown that most people don't know, he has never played football.
Oh.
He has never, look it up. I know I'm right. He has never played NFL football.
Wow, that's right.
And that's why I was like, how in the world this dude even became a coach, let alone a head coach? But should he have gotten fired? I think before you go after the head coach, in my opinion, you should go after those what's it called? Position coaches. Yeah. Let's look at the background of the 31 head coaches. So 30 are Caucasian, of the owners, 30 are Caucasian. One, I think, is either Asian.
Are we talking about coaches or owners?
We're talking about owners.
Now we're talking about owners.
Owners. So I feel like that too, because out of the 31 owners, remember the Packers are owned by a corporation. So 31, 30 are Caucasian and 1 is Asian. He's either Asian or Indian. I don't know what it is, but he's not. That's incredible when the National Football League is about 80% Black and brown. And like I said in the beginning, I believe in the human race with different cultures, but more cultures need to be represented. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. And I had someone ask me that question. Someone in my life asked me, are there any Black owners? And I'm like, if there's only one head coach that's Black, it's not gonna be no Black owners. That's a whole nother something else.
I just would like to look how successful Dungy and Tomlin is. Tomlin is the most successful. 15 years of always having a winning season.
Yeah.
This means this man knows what he's doing. And he haven't had it easy. He had been with his rape stuff, AB cutting up. You know what I'm saying? Even this year, who would have known? I had them not going. They stepped in and took the Ravens spot.
Yeah.
It had to, and this with me, in all fairness, if John wouldn't have made them 2 calls, they probably wouldn't have went, but he still got to win the season, so he's in there. So I say all this to say I would like more diversity.
Yeah, and Tomlin is one. If he ever wrote a book, I would buy it. Like I would buy his book because he seems like he would have so many stories to tell. Can you imagine being one of only 32 of something, and you have to be in meetings with people, and you have to blend in, and you have to deal with cultures, and you have to you deal with that.
It's hard and not even with my now job. I have only been the only person of color on 2 of my 3 previous jobs, and it's hard. So Dungy being in that position, he can feel for his players, but also he's in management now, so he has to make some tough decisions. Right. And I think that was part of him getting fired because he wasn't willing to make those tough decisions. They had no reason to really fire him being. He had a winning season.
That's right. And Dungy's personality is very, as a Christian man and actually living out those values. He was not a big yeller and a screamer and a cusser and all that. He wasn't going to do all that. Go ahead.
I'll be in there yelling and screaming and cussing. God gonna have to give me a pass on them Sundays, because some of them need to play. How you gonna get $30 million and don't show up to play?
Right.
Like, let's segue into the next thing. How would you have handled AB? Now, let's be honest. This is Antonio Brown. This is my boy. Now, this is my perspective. I'm going to get out the way real quick. Y'all know how I love this man. You know what I'm saying? But the word was he wasn't feeling 100%, and they wanted him to get out on the field. And he said, I'm not feeling 100%. And he told them, you either get out there or you're done. So you saw what happened. How would you have handled it?
As the coach?
Mm-hmm.
That's hard because you're telling, that's hard. That's hard. Unless there was more to the story, because I was hearing like there maybe have been other things that could
like get his bonus and all that.
Right, just stuff. But in the end, if you're the leader of something and you're telling the people following you do something and they blatantly tell you no, that's a problem. But as a coach, if someone is genuinely hurt and they're telling you, I can't do this, and you're forcing them, that's a problem too. So I don't know. I don't know how I would handle that.
Do you think he's not in the NFL?
No. He's too talented to be done. And he's still not haven't hit that age. He's older now, but he hasn't hit the age where he's just like, no, we don't want him no more. I don't think he's done.
Like half the quarterbacks we done picked up. When I say we, I mean the Washington football team.
Right.
I 100% agree with everything you said. It would be hard for me, but I don't think his career is over. I do think it should have been some give and take between both of them. I don't think he should have made that grand gesture of taking his jersey off and doing what he did.
Doing too much.
That he could have been avoided. Now that's where we're going to get one always from him. Between the hot air balloon ride and all that stuff, you always gonna get one from him. He can't just leave. He has to make a grand gesture of leaving. I just wish he would have, but I'm totally in agreement with you on all that.
Yeah, it's this man. And you always say he ain't gonna be able to make it a whole season.
He can't make it a season out. It's in him, Beanie. It's in him. It's in his DNA to cut up. He got 24 of chromosome 1. It's called the cut up gene. He gonna cut up. And to segue into another part of Black head coaches, look how they Jackson State gave Deion Sanders the opportunity to coach, and he did something that was never done. He was able to recruit the #1 recruit out of high school, the Hunter boy, Sabrina, what's his name?
Travis Hunter. Yeah.
And this the part that shocked me. He a corner.
Yeah.
How many times have we heard usually the quarterback is the highest recruit or wide receiver, a corner, a defensive player, the #1 recruit, and he went to a HBUC, unheard of. So that tells you sometimes people in your culture know how to relate to you and talk to you and can get you to understand. And he was able to take that boy from a division, get that young man from a Division I school to a school that's operating in the red in the athletics right now. Because some report came out about how Deion paid him. He was like, we ain't got no money, we broke. That young man decided to come because he wanted to be coached by the greatest of all time in that position.
At that position, I never thought about that. Deion played the position that he plays.
Who better than to learn from but the GOAT?
Oh man, I never thought about
it. Only makes sense for him to.
I miss
it. Only makes sense. I get mad when people blame it all because they was black. They black. No, he wanted to learn from the GOATs of that position.
Oh man, I don't know why I didn't connect that dot. That's a huge dot. Yeah, and so many people say, "What can an HBCU give?"
You going to see
that a Big Five school wouldn't give you that. There's no comparison. Well, there are pros and cons, but HBCU is its own thing. And like you said, the fact that Deion was a corner and he's the GOAT. Oh yeah, that's huge. I missed that.
That's why that boy went, because he was. I was like, why did that dog? And everybody talking about. I said, no, he went because he get to play with the GOAT. He gets to get coached by the GOATs. So if this dude already the number one highest recruit in the country, so that means he has a football mentality already. That's one of the, you claimed it. That's, to me, that's the second, but to you, it's the first hardest position to play on the field. Yeah. And then to be the number one recruit at that position. And now you finally get to learn from the GOAT. So whatever he learned, Deion gonna take him here. Yeah. It was a no-brainer.
Yes.
But there are several Hall of Famers that have come from HBCU. Michael Strahan was from HBCU. Doug Williams was from, so there are instances where they do make it to the NFL, but coming from a high school to they surpassed that Division I to go the number one recruit in the nation.
That was a big land. That was a big
definitely. So kudos to Young, but you got to give it to him. He was able to get him. And finally, we lost two great men this past month in football. We lost my boy John Madden and Dan Reeves.
Yeah, and John Madden, even if you don't watch football, you know that name. You know from game consoles. You know it just from passing the TV because you go into the kitchen and you hear somebody say John Madden. If you heard his voice, you might say, "I know that voice." He was so iconic that his passing was like the end of an era or whatever. And also Dan Reeves, a very notable head coach in the NFL for many, many, many years, won the Super Bowl. And so we lost two greats within the last month. So condolences to the Reeves family and to the Madden family.
I feel like we all are part of the Madden family. Like, even if you don't know Dan Reeves from being a head coach, you do know John Madden. So I feel like we all lost someone. Just like when Betty White passed away, it would have been her 100th birthday yesterday. But it was funny because I went to the store and all the newspapers and the magazines had already started celebrating her 100th birthday because we automatically assumed and took it for granted that she would make it to 100. She done made it 99 and 11 months and 2 weeks. Why wouldn't she make it out the next week? But real quick, an antidote before we say bye. Somebody said, well, technically she did made it to 100 because she lived through 12 leap years. So the extra day got her to her 100th birthday. So I guess you got to find a positive in everything.
Yeah, and I will say that this is a little trivia of Sabrina question. But if you ask me what my favorite old show is, if you really know me, it has always been the Golden Girls. Always, 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 always. Betty's character was not my favorite, but
who's your favorite?
B. Arthur. I love Dorothy.
And that was the Sophia.
Oh yeah, I love Sophia.
That mother could come in and tear it up.
Yeah. So, that Golden Girls was always and still is my favorite old show.
I thought it was I Love Lucy.
I'm about to say followed by I Love Lucy.
Yeah. I know my cousin. I thought it was I Love Lucy.
Yeah, and also Sidney Poitier died, right?
Oh yeah. Oh no. So we lost some greats. So yeah, we gotta get our kids in the arts. back and find us, because we need those, they'll never be replaced, but we need that caliber of actors and philanthropists and sports, you know, people in our lives. So remember to get your kids active. Don't let them sit in the house on them games all day. Let them go out, put them in a program, crocheting, singing, acting, music, all that stuff. So I already mentioned this previously, but Sabrina, who do you have winning the MVP this year?
It's going to be Tom again at some point, or it's going
Not
to
this year.
or it's going to be Patrick,
No.
or it's going to be your boy Aaron. It's going to
And
be.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm pissed off at Aaron right now, but I must say, I think he's gonna win again. I just got a feeling. Tom doesn't look shaky. Mahomes lost too many games. So you have to be like, who out of all of them had the best year, the better stats and the best year? And it was Aaron. And I think it would be rewarding a bad behavior child if he did, but you know, I have to forgive and move on, and everybody makes mistakes, and I can't stay on my soapbox about what he did. But I would love it to be somebody else, but unfortunately, he had the type of year that I could see him winning it again.
Hey, so you say Aaron Rodgers. I think I'll say Mahomes.
Got it. I'm Gwen.
I'm Sabrina.
Stay safe, stay blessed, subscribe, love someone. Bye.